still got just a little bit of editing to do.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's not a big deal.
Let's listen to some of this free Restream IO background music for a moment. Oh, that's awful. I'm not doing that. That's bad. How do I turn it off? Yeah, that's not good. Good morning, everybody. This is JJW, and that is Deacon, and we are your two dads. We are here every Monday through Friday at 6:30 in the morning, reading the news, talking about politics and culture and pop culture and other stuff, and we would love it if you would subscribe. Oh, I already had the subscribe sign up. Subscribe to youtube.com/JJW and catch up with us. But we are here Monday through Friday, 6:30 in the morning. Okay, so we're still drinking our coffee, boys and girls. We're drinking our coffee.
I'm not drinking my coffee. I'm spilling the crap all over the place.
Deacon's spilling his coffee all over the place. When I said we, I meant the royal we, sir.
My bad.
We are still drinking our coffee. Delicious. So we probably have a lot of San Diego Comic-Con stuff to talk about.
Let's talk about it. I've seen some stuff.
But before that, I got at least two stories that I've seen that I haven't dropped in the newsfeed. So, so if you want your week to start right, it better start with fear, and fear and horror.
Okay.
All right. So let me get this story up while you get your whatever you got going on over there.
I just need like a minute or two to finish my editing, and then I'll be able to pay attention 100%.
Absolutely. Totally cool. All right. According to this story from Axios, which is NewsGuard certified, that means it has the green check mark, and that means it is a good news source. In fact, this Axios gets a 100 out of 100 from NewsGuard. Now, NewsGuard is a little bit biased towards the left, as I understand it, but isn't everything. But at least it's claimed to be honest by somebody else. Biological weapons could target DNA, the food supply, say 2 U.S. lawmakers. This story posted.
This is news. This is. I have not have. This is news. Okay. I've. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, two lawmakers are saying it though. This photo is of Rep.
I guess that's a good point to lawmakers. Yeah, this is news, but I've known them. Yeah, this has been a possibility for what, 30 years?
Okay, yes, but aside from like the the movie version, targeted DNA of something, and I know that there's been scuttlebutt about like COVID-19 variants that didn't affect like Asian populations or something like that. But I don't know any of that's true. But this photo is of apparently Representative Jason Crow, a Democrat from Colorado, who conducts a news conference on July 13th. So this story is from 18 hours ago, though. Biological and chemical weapons have the potential to pose a national security threat to the U.S. That the country is not equipped to handle. A panel of lawmakers and military leader told an audience at the Aspen Security Forum Friday.
That we're not prepared for.
We're not prepared for.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, it poses a risk that we're not prepared for. It just doesn't. They're not saying, hey, this poses a risk. Yeah, we know it poses a risk, buddy. Thanks, Captain Obvious. So they're basically saying we're screwed if this happens, because this has already happened in other countries. Hell, supposedly this has happened in other countries.
Right. Well, listen,
You don't think that they're messing with that kind of crap? You don't think that they're messing with somebody? So go ahead. Sorry.
There's no good guys. And we got guys for the U.S. that are not good guys too. There's no good guys, but mostly I think that we have a lot of semi-competent, bumbling idiots doing stuff, think they're smart, and then something gets loose, and 500 million people die or something like that. I don't know, but here's why it matters. The COVID-19 pandemic underscored how globally debilitating and dangerous pathogens could be if deliberately engineered and released. In May, former federal officials warned that the U.S. is not prepared for the possibility of germ warfare. The big picture. Army General Richard Clark, the U.S. commander of U.S. Special Operations Command, said chemical weapons such as chlorine and mustard gas had been used in 2014 to 2016 by actors such as ISIS in Iraq and Syria. So we've had chemical warfare in the last 10 years. Oh my God, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay. I'm gonna concede that the point of the U.S. not being ready, for sure, that's true. So why do they rabble rouse like this? Do you think, Deacon? Is it to get all of us scared and they're like, oh my gosh, we're not ready? Yes, of course, you can have more authority to do some stuff that you think we're supposed to be doing to get us ready because we don't want to.
JJ, according to the media, just off the top of your head, because I've worked in the media for 30 years,
right?
I see little bitty things that not the average person sees. Mm-hmm. So, off the top of your head, over the past 22 years, how many end of the worlds have we lived through, according to the media? Just out of the past, just since 2000. No. Let me go back 1 year so we can add one. Since 1999, how many end of the worlds have we lived through?
Well, there was, the terrorism, the war on terror. That's for sure one. There's the bird flu and the swine flu. Those definitely ended the world. What other ones am I missing?
I was just, there's a bunch. You've lived through
there's a bunch.
A bunch, according to the media. As much as people, and I've heard people say this for a long time, as much as people say, I want the good news. I want the good news. And you love looking at Facebook and seeing those good stories. And maybe you will look at Reddit. Made Me Smile is one of the subreddits that me and Kendra like to look at because it always does make you smile. So some good, good wholesome gifts and stories and stuff. But people don't want to see that all the time. Right. And the media knows that, and that crap doesn't sell all the time. It just doesn't. If I read my news every day, it's actually my news is I just got finished editing. It comes on in 10 minutes. And there's a couple of good, nice stories in there. Most of it is just informational stories, but there's people want to hear about Joe Blow got busted for meth, and this guy got busted down here. And what happened with those people that were fighting in the Walmart parking lot? And did you hear that so-and-so divorced her husband? And the media knows that. And so that's what sells. So that's why it's written this way. That's why it's written this way. You wouldn't click on it if it didn't, if it just said, what was the whole part again of it?
It was just the biological weapons could target DNA.
Oh. You wouldn't have clicked on it if it said something like whatever. You wouldn't have clicked on it.
Yeah.
My brain's not processing what the damn story was about anymore. I don't even remember what the story was about. mRNA or something. Yeah.
So I guess one dangerous aspect of this is that people will very rapidly fit into a cup and send it to 20andMe and get an interesting data about the background. And guess what? Their data is now owned by a private company, and that could be sold off.
Well, I don't understand when people do that. My neighbor guy that came over here, who's my old history teacher, came in and was talking about how awesome it was and how I needed to do that. And I'm like, you don't realize what you just done. Not even getting into the conspiracy, crazy tinfoil hat type stuff that you could get into from that. Right. Not even getting into that. But you don't realize that you just gave your DNA to be sold to everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
Everybody.
Yeah. Everybody can have your DNA.
Everybody now. Yep. Yeah. Anybody. Some of the stuff that is
I'm actively filtering out awful jokes right now. I'm filtering out bad jokes. Like, this is not appropriate for a morning show. So those jokes are going out of my head. So I mean, it might be worthwhile to find out that you were 2.5% North African and also, I don't know, 5% Russian. I mean, who knows? But my dad actually did one of these things about 5 or 6, 7 years ago, and it turns out that we're genetically mostly from Europe. Shocking. All over the place.
Oh,
Like,
it sounds fantastic. As somebody that loves genealogy and stuff like that and history, it sounds fantastic. I would absolutely love to know how much of supposed Cherokee I have and how much of Viking and I would love to know.
Right.
But I'm not going to do it.
I'm gonna see if I can find out my here it is. So this is I have my dad's. I'm not going to show it, but it turns out that my dad. So I'm half of this plus whatever mystery my mom has, right? My dad is 69% Great Britain, and then like 18% Irish. 18% Irish. Oh, I didn't know I had so much Irish in my blood.
You're Irish and Scottish there.
Oh, I'm Irish. I got Scandinavia. I got Iberian Peninsula. I got some of a percent of Italy, Greece, West Europe, East Europe, and guess what? I've got almost a percent of North Africa right here. North Africa, and also almost a percent of South Asia. I'm all over the world, baby. Anyway, that's my dad, so I'm half that. But I don't know about sending your DNA off to somewhere. I'd have to really think about it, and you'd have to read it. You should, you know what? If anything, you should read the terms of service. You should absolutely read the terms of service, and because if it says, "Oh yeah, you will give you your DNA, and we might sell some of it too,"
but it's not going to say it like that.
Yeah, I see. You got to read the terms of service.
It's going to say a legalese jargon that you won't understand.
The whole point of terms of service is that your eyes get crossed and you fall asleep before you get to the end of the document.
Yeah, from henceforth on, the party subparty A will be fourth known as subparty C, and the main party subparty A will be known as subparty B.
Yeah.
What?
All right. So maybe that's not news, but Senator Joni Ernst, a member of the Senate Subcommittee on Emerging Threats and Capabilities of the Armed Services Committee, added that biological weapons can be equally dangerous if they are designed to target food systems rather than people. How do we know that our congresspeople and our senators and our representatives are not also wackadoodle conspiracy theorists that are just saying whatever bumbling stuff ends up in their heads? How do we know that?
We don't. Because some
of
them are.
There was nothing in what she just said there that was either like shocking or news breaking or earth shattering. Of course, you can try to design a biological weapon that can be equally dangerous to food systems as people. I don't know. And it seems like it was like, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but over the past like 6 months, there have been so many breakdowns in the food supply systems where like baby food production was told by Biden to turn it off because it's, something's wrong with it, or plants are just blowing up, like different kinds of food production facilities are catching fire or blowing up and shutting them down. So our supply is down, but our infrastructure, you would think, Deacon, if you were a normal person who didn't spend a lot of time thinking about this, you would think that the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, would have prepared for all kinds of emergency situations and would have redundant backup systems for our electrical supply, that we would have resistant systems that would prevent us from running out of food or interfering with transportation or running out of water or anything like that. But it turns out that a moderately invested bad guy can write a virus or a worm or something that gets into the control systems of our power supply and just shuts stuff down, shuts off our hydrogen or hydroelectric dams. They'll shut off our pipelines. We had like last year there was an entire pipeline from like Texas to like East Coast or something that got turned off because they get hit with like the company that runs the pipeline got hit with one of those crypto viruses, that encrypts everything, and you have to pay them like a Bitcoin to get out of for them to undo it or whatever. So they got hit with one of these viruses, and they couldn't control their own infrastructure system, so they had to turn it all off for like a week or something like that. And the East Coast was there, and this is in 2020, 2019, 2020, maybe 2021. And the East Coast had a limited fuel supply for a while because they couldn't get any gas. So, you'd think that we would be resistant to things like that, but we haven't invested the time, money, or effort into creating resilient infrastructure systems in the U.S. Instead, we make sure that
I have trouble swallowing that we haven't created, that we don't have backup to backups. I have trouble. I mean, I'm sure that there's some systems that probably have some flaws, but I have trouble believing that we don't have, that the main government stuff, the main stuff doesn't have backups to backups to backups. And I know that things are going to go wrong and things that always, there's always going to be a way around something. But I mean, I don't operate that way. I always operate with like a backup plan or at least two backup plans in my mind. But I don't know if everybody
we almost
does that.
certainly have backup systems for shooting missiles. I bet you we got that. I don't believe that we have that. We barely have enough generation of electricity. We haven't built a nuclear power plant in like 30 something years. The United States has, I think, 3 power grids. The East Coast one is all, like across, multiple areas. Maybe it's 4. The West Coast has a power grid, and Texas has its own power grid. Texas. We were like, we're not sure about you guys. So we have our own power grid called ERCOT, and it has, some percentage of
what
coal.
Happens when Texas's power grid goes down?
Oh, it's really strained. It's really strained because we keep saying, oh, we'll put more windmills up, and we got like, I think it's like 20% renewable energy or whatever. It ain't enough. The sun doesn't shine that much and the wind doesn't blow that much. And when it gets cold, that stuff breaks. So, I mean, good morning, Ghost Dog. We don't have enough. It's not only about energy. It's not only about energy production. It's about storage, because with renewables, you can produce energy while the wind's blowing. You can produce energy while the sun's shining. But then at night,
you can produce energy when the sun's not shining, though, too.
Yeah, but can you produce enough, or what you produce? Do you have the storage medium? And that's the problem. We don't have sufficiently advanced storage mediums to hold our extra energy generated when we don't need it to run all day when we do need it, or when production is down.
Oh, Texas doesn't. Oh. We get a lot of, we have right like not 5 miles from where I'm sitting sorry, I picked up my phone and was talking into it. I forgot I'm on camera. Yeah. Not 5 miles from where I'm sitting is Kentucky Dam. And Kentucky Dam is Kentucky Lake is the largest man-made lake east of the Mississippi. I mean, it's humongous. And we generate a lot of power. Not 5 miles where I'm sitting, a lot of electricity is generated for the Tennessee Valley Authority, the TVA. And from what I understand, because every time the power and all this crap happens around here, they always say, well, 80% of all the electricity that we make here in our backyard is sent like to Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia, and that's where all of it goes.
So Okay, so that's a good. I mean, that's a good kind of illustration of what you're talking about. There's a few places, I mean, it's more than a few, but there are localized, centralized places where generation of electricity happens, and then
Yeah.
it's used everywhere else, right? So you have to
Yes.
have a network of distribution, and what we should have are, in my opinion, we should have nuclear, and those nuclear reactors should be like micro generators, big enough to support like 30,000 people. I think they can make them that are small enough to support like 30,000 people, something like that. And then you have them all over the place. The ones that they have now, they can build with the plans for like the fourth generation reactors. They are built and sealed, so they can't leak. And when if they don't really overheat or fail, but if they do, they just turn off and then they become inert. So we should have, instead of very few high generation areas that are susceptible to attack, we should have our energy generation be like all over the place, small and decentralized. And then the system becomes like redundant. If one fails, you can just plug another one in, or you can uh, uh, have the rest of the network cover it. So I'm,
But
I'm looking.
JJ, if
Yeah,
you make things efficient, you're going to cut out all these assholes in the middle that's going to get their cut. Okay?
yeah,
You've got to screw crap up and not make it as efficient, planned obsolescence, some people call it in some aspects. But you got they if me and you made it so efficient, no, you would cut out so many jobs. So
yeah.
I don't think they do it on purpose, but I think that is a factor in things. I think that's why things are the way that they are. Oh, not solely.
Right.
Things are this way because we have gotten smarter over the years. Our
Oh,
our forefathers and mothers were very, very smart, but we are smarter than them, and our children
right.
are smarter than us and will be. So I mean, and so yeah, we've got to adapt, and some of these places haven't adapted as much, but I really think part of it is just greed. I think greed plays a big role in a lot of stuff that happens.
Oh, for sure. That's true. But I mean, my point was basically like, we should have more redundancy and more resiliency. So this is the
Yeah, I agree.
ERCOT energy grid, right? So it serves Texas, and here's like the places where it's like needed and used. So, but Texas has its own energy grid. But here in the first panel, you can see here is the current demand, like midnight to 4 in the morning, pretty low, right? But the committed capacity, the ability to generate, is like 65 megawatts, right? And that's late at night. But during the day, the demand gets up to like 80 megawatts, and it probably continues to rise over time. So if the demand way exceeds the ability to generate, you have to either be able to generate more, or you have to be able to store what is in excess at this point, so that you can use it during the height of the day. This is when we are running all our air conditioners in Texas. Turn those ACs on, baby. Get it cold. So anyway, and everybody, a lot of the rest of the country likes to bag on Texas because Texas had a failure a year or two ago, but California has had energy failures with they were brownouts or whatever. So, but I think that it's the most importantly to me, it's the politicians setting policy, preventing advancement of things that can generate more electricity, safe and clean, nuclear reactors. We haven't had a nuclear reactor in 30 something years. China is slated to have built 150 in the next 5 years. 150 nuclear reactors. So we got to do something. I feel like we got to do something. Anyway, so this is ERCOT's Texas energy stuff. Okay, so that's not super interesting to everybody else in the world. So, okay, biological weapons, yay bad. I got one more story. Then we can start talking about San Diego Comic-Con. Let's get this one up. Breitbart News. Breitbart News has a 49.5 out of 100, according to NewsGuard, which means that they do not gather information responsibly and are not transparent about who owns and finances the website, according to NewsGuard. That being said, I think Breitbart News has a pretty high reputation. So Breitbart News says Biden considers giving ID cards to illegal aliens released into the U.S. Okay. I'm not sure why you would be releasing them without having some ID in the first place. I'm not sure why 2021 is the year to start. Wait, it's 2022? 2022 is the year to start thinking of this idea. President Joe Biden is considering issuing government ID cards to border crossers and illegal aliens who are set for release into the American communities as part of the Department of Homeland Security's expansive catch and release operation.
So we just don't even give a crap now. You just come on over. You're a illegal alien. You cross the border. Why do we have border guards and why do we have that crap, man? Just let them come over. I don't care what damn country you're from. Flood your asses in this damn country. We're going to give you a card. We're going to give you insurance. We're going to pay for your kids' crap. Come on, because I can't afford freaking electricity in my house some days. All right, and I work 50 hours a damn week. I work 50 hours a week.
Uh-oh. He's hot.
All right.
He's hot.
And that is going down. I've gone down in my hours that I work a week.
Well,
all right.
Not only that, your purchasing power is going down too. The dollars that you make may be the same, but everything else is more expensive. So your personal purchasing power is ratcheting down. Mine too.
I have zero problem with anyone coming to this country that wants to better themselves and come to their country. You're not going to come to this country to better yourself anymore. That ship sailed 20 years ago. America used to be the land of opportunity. It is no longer the land of opportunity. It is not the freest country in the world anymore because there are many other countries that have much more freedom than we do. Okay, so we're not. So don't better yourself by coming to the country that I used to love. But I have no problem with people coming over here, but do it the right way because we all don't have white freaking privilege. Okay, I'm still waiting for my freaking white privilege while I'm worrying how I'm going to pay my damn bills and send my kids to school. So anybody that says that shit to me can kiss my ass.
Whoa,
Sorry.
It's hot. Good morning.
Sorry.
Happy Monday morning.
My bad.
Are your two dads.
I've got to go and talk on the radio now, so I've got to cuss for a second.
That's fine. So I'll just finish up the story. How are we not giving them any ID to start with? It doesn't make sense. What were they doing? Oh, we're thinking about giving them ID cards. Let's see. Late last week, Axios reported Biden is considering issuing ID cards to illegal aliens once they arrived at the U.S.-Mexico border. The goal is to make securing public benefits easier in the U.S. interior. Axios' Steph Knight reports the Biden administration plans to test providing temporary ID cards to unauthorized immigrants awaiting a final decision on their case. According to two government sources familiar with the planning, those infamous two government sources, those infamous two unnamed people familiar with the matter. Come on, media. What are you doing with this stuff? The administration is hoping to get congressional approval before the end of September to roll out a pilot. Before September, we don't even have we're starting this now. I know it's been 40, 50 years of people crossing the border from all countries, We're talking Iran, China, Honduras, El Salvador. Like every country in the world comes across the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas and Arizona. Every country. For 40 years, they're just coming over here and and we have a plan to maybe start doing some sort of an ID thing by September. Okay, sure you do. Before a potential Republican takeover in November. And oh yes, there's going to be a Republican takeover in November. They could be presented to TSA agents to allow unauthorized immigrants to more easily travel by plane or access certain state benefit programs. That's all right. You do get to pay. Texas does get to pay for it. Such a program would be a massive boost to the Biden administration's plan to transform the southern border into a mere checkpoint for border crossers and illegal aliens where they can be stopped, briefly detained, and then released into American communities. From February 2021 to May 2022 alone, Biden has released over 1 million border crossers and illegal aliens into the U.S. interior. That's 13, 14, 15 months. That is about twice the population of Wyoming and larger than the population of Austin, Texas. 1 million in 15 months.
That is easy votes. That's instant votes, man.
Oh, sir, I'm not sure if you are suggesting that there's in any way that our United States election system could be fraudulently manipulated, because that's been impossible since 2020. That can't happen. It's not
preface
possible.
That with hypothetically speaking.
We didn't talk about this story, but it was going on the last few weeks, but we didn't talk about it. But I read a pretty funny headline about it related to this topic, and I can cite a source. I can cite a source for it shortly, but so about a month or stuff. Yeah, about a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago, Governor Abbott started shipping the illegal immigrants that our Border Patrol catches and started shipping them to Washington, D.C. We're picking them up and we're putting them on buses and we're sending them to Washington.
Are you for real?
Yeah, you don't know about this?
No.
I'm definitely gonna get this story. So let me.
No, the rest of the world doesn't get as much Texas news. We get more Florida than you.
So hilarious.
Thank God the only thing Kentucky gets made fun of is that we think our cousin's hot.
let me so I can go with Fox News, or I can go with let me go with there's so many. Here is the Daily Signal. It is new here. Let me drop this down and let me add this because there's a bunch of these. We'll do whole screen here. Here we go.
We ain't got to go 20 minutes into it. I just
we don't. But
heard about it.
So here's one from IJR. So you can see these little check marks. That is NewsGuard certified, NewsGuard certified, NewsGuard certified. Fox News, no, 57 out of 100. But let's go with IJR and just look at this one. DC mayor claims migrants are being tricked into being bussed to the nation's capital. In April, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, said the state would be, quote, sending illegal aliens to the United States Capitol, where the Biden administration will be able to more immediately address the needs of the people that they are allowing to come across our border. So we are literally passing the buck all the way to Washington, D.C. And Washington, D.C. is so you have then White House Secretary Jen Psaki was asked about the plan to bus migrants to the Capitol if the Biden administration has plans to respond. And Redhead Psaki at the time said, I'm not aware of what authority the governor would be doing that under. Guess what? We just said, literally, Abbott was like, hey, illegal immigrants, do any of you want to go to D.C.? And they just said, sure. And they got on the bus and we just sent them. So it wasn't even
there's no authority. It was just asking them, hey, do you want to go to Washington?
It was not even a compelled program. It was voluntary. So we packed up like 10,000 or something.
Jeremy, it doesn't matter if it's on the taxpayer dime or not, because you pay a lot of shit on the taxpayer dime that you have no clue of. What's funny is that these people that are wanting to flood these people into our country don't want them in their backyard, and that's the truth. Okay? And you missed, if you weren't here a minute ago and missed my rant, I have no problem with people from other country wanting to come to this country to attempt to better themselves, because it's really hard to attempt to better yourself in this country anymore. So if they want to come to this country, by God, come on. If they want to camp in my backyard, I will freaking set up some shit to let them camp out back there. So don't think I'm one of these people that's hating. We're pointing out the fact that the people are hypocrites. They want to send these people and bring these people into the country, but they don't want them in their city, is what we're saying. And that is what we're laughing at. I'm not laughing at the fact that my damn dime is being used to pay for this crap, because let me tell you, my damn dime is used to pay for a lot of crap that if it wouldn't, that I don't agree with. Okay. But that's the point of living in this damn society. My dime pays for a lot of things that I don't agree with. And that is the price that I pay for living in this society. But there are a lot of people that don't want to do that. They don't want their dime to pay on both sides, not just the left, not just the right. There are people that don't want to pay for that crap that they don't agree with. And that's fine. That's their choice. Okay, so before you think that we're sitting here laughing and making fun and we're hee-hawing and a bunch of stupid idiots, JJ has his degree in political science, I believe, don't you?
Yeah, I think you might be arguing with my brother, though. That Jeremy is almost certainly my brother.
I love you, dude.
No, it's totally fine. He probably it was okay with it. So
I
this,
thought
and then
that
we're
was just
get off
some random
that.
guy
So,
like bitching. Me and JJ we used to get bitched at all the time. Oh, sorry, dude. Sorry, Jeremy.
yeah.
I feel like a prick now.
Texas,
you can call me a prick. My brother does.
Texas and Arizona are sending the migrants from the border that we are catching, which is like tens of thousands, sending them to Washington, D.C., right? New York City, D.C. mayors complain about illegal aliens bust from Texas and Arizona.
I feel like
this right here,
now.
this is the Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Browser speaking in 2015, but she's the mayor of D.C. And on Sunday, DC's Democrat Mayor Muriel Browser admitted that the capital is overwhelmed by an influx of illegal aliens who are being bused from the U.S.-Mexico border. And New York City's Democrat Mayor Eric Adams later echoed Bauer's frustrations because Texas and Arizona are sending them to D.C., and D.C. rerouted them to New York. And New York is Eric Adams came on the news yesterday and said that our social our support system is being strained by 10,000 migrants, and 10,000 migrants got added to New York City, and New York City is beds and homeless shelter and healthcare system is strained under the mother effer. There's like hundreds of thousands of these people in Texas and all over the country. Biden is literally flying them to different states to try to hide or disperse them all over the place. And New York City is like, finally, you're realizing that this is difficult to deal with, and you barely have a little fraction of the stress on your system. Meanwhile, Arizona, Texas, all of the other Western states, they don't have the revenues of New York. They don't have the population dense support systems for thousands and even millions of beds and all kinds of care. We don't even have that much support system, and yet and those states are being strained and stressed even more. But the leaders in the Capitol, as long as that problem stays out with the scrubs, it's not a big deal. Well, when that problem is in their backyard, well, now they have to actually take it seriously. And this is forced Eric Adams, Muriel Browser, to be in somewhat opposition to the rest of the swamp, because now they are personally having to deal with the strain of the system. And by the way, I'm not against immigration at all. I am not against immigration at all, not even a little bit. But the United States should have the ability to say, hold up, we got enough for the moment, and okay, now let more in, and we should have some control over the border instead of no control at all, or the abdication of control entirely, which is what the current administration is doing. They're like, we're not even going to try. We're just going to move them all over the place. It'll be okay. Well, anyway, that I do think it's funny that that the effects of the policies of the establishment, and by that I mean the Republicans and the Democrats that are in Washington D.C. The effects of the policies of the establishment are not something that they actually want to live with themselves. They just want you to live with it out in the remote areas of the country, so that the capital can be well to do. So anyway, all right. That's all I got to say about that. Do you have any other words about this? By the way, Muriel's new plan for dealing with migrants that are now arriving in DC is to also send them to Miami. So she's just going to pass the buck. They're just going to pass the buck.
No, sorry, Jeremy. I didn't realize who I was.
Oh, don't.
I went off on a rant the other day, and JJ said, "Lean into that." I was like, I usually get stopped by my family for ranting.
Do it.
My whole family's like, "Oh, great, here he goes."
He may be gone. I don't know. Hey, I it's only one person's left right now. I don't know if people are upset or something, but I mean, this is what's happening in the news. I didn't make this stuff up. I just think it's a little bit funny. All right, so Deacon. Last week, he's not even offended. Last weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, San Diego Comic-Con. Usually the biggest event in comic book pop culture news in the year is where studios, publications announce their forthcoming projects, announce their movies that are going to be coming out in the next year or two, announce the major comic book storylines that are going to be happening in the next major event. I didn't really hear anything about comic books at all from SDCC. Nowadays, it's mostly just here's your next movies you're going to be paying for.
That's where the money is.
Yeah.
There's no money.
Yeah. We did see, we talked last week. What did we talk? We talked the SDCC story last Friday, I think. Do you remember what it was? I don't remember what it was. It was, let me see if I get
it. It was the Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yes, which I think was great. I heard some other people kind of bag on it, but I thought it looked great. Okay. And by the way, tangential to all of this, I finally watched Doctor Strange, something of multiverse of something, and
Madness?
Yeah, okay, right.
You talked about it.
Yeah. Okay, and it was okay. I would probably give it 3 out of 5 personally. I didn't really hate it, didn't really love it, and when it got to the end, I was like, no, okay, and I kind of thought, this is probably another movie that I will never see again. But I was actually rather disappointed by the Illuminati segment of the movie. You
didn't like it when Black Bolt's head blew up. That was awesome.
I thought that was
awesome.
I thought that was a clever thing. His skin is impenetrable to his voice, so it resounded and it blew his own brain up. Okay, but it didn't break his skin. It just went bloop, and I was like, okay, but if I probably dwelled on it, I'd probably be nitpicky about I didn't like this, I didn't like that, I didn't like this. That didn't make sense. Smartest guy in the world, and he can't handle 2 problems at once. You can't handle a Doctor Strange and also a Scarlet Witch. You can't be like, no. We only need to work on one problem at a time. Okay, smartest man in the okay, Reed. So anyway, I did finally watch that, and it was okay. I would give it 3 out of 5. And honestly, it's not the first. It's not even the second, and it's not even the third Marvel movie that I've seen and probably will not watch again. So anyway, here is the full MCU Phase 5 and Phase 6 release schedule revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. The big headline here is the Kang stuff, of course.
There are only a couple of things that even looked remotely interesting.
All right, so the rest of Phase 4 will include She-Hulk, which, by the way, will air in about 3 weeks, maybe less than 4 weeks. So, Deacon, I think as important members of the media, you and I should be watching these episodes and then giving a review. What do you think about that? The next morning we'll give a review. I think
Okay.
we'll have to do that. It'll give us both an excuse to watch it, and then you can be like, "Well, I thought it was good," and I'll be like, "I thought it looked like Shrek. I thought it was terrible." Maybe not. I don't know. That's just a prediction. So She-Hulk Attorney at Law Disney Plus show is airing on August 17th, and then Black Panther Wakanda Forever airs in November 2022. And I'll tell you right now, I don't go to the movies enough. I go to maybe 2 movies a year, maybe 3.
Me too.
And those and if I go to 3, at least 2 of them are with my kids. So there are Minions or Despicable Me, a cartoon.
Movies, yeah.
I can't say enough great things about The Bad Guys. That movie was amazing. So I am unlikely to watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It comes out in 2022. It'll probably be on Disney Plus in 2023. I may watch it by 2025. So don't know about that, but She-Hulk Attorney at Law, we'll watch that and we'll give reviews about it. So that's the rest of Phase 4, which in my opinion has been phase not very interesting. Then the start of Phase 5. Here is a poster, and check out this poster if you haven't already. There's Ant-Man. This is, as we know, the Wasp. If you watched the Loki TV show, you might recognize Jonathan, what's his name? Is it Jonathan Taylor as Kang? I'll have to get his name. It's Jonathan something. I think he's a great actor. Other people have not had a high opinion of what he did, but I thought it was good.
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors.
I thought he was great when he was at the end of that, and I was like, oh, "That's Kang." I was like, "Oh, that's great." And then some of these little concept pictures of his face with the Kang makeup and stuff look, man, he looks awesome. Look at that.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's like what? Like is that fan art or is that promo art?
I think that's fan art. Yeah, okay. It's fan art.
You can see a little bit of it back there, but it looks pretty good. And then here in the purple suit in the middle ground here must be, I can't think of anyone else it would be other than Ant-Man's daughter Cassie, who was a child in the first movie, and then Infinity War Snap, and then second movie he gets him back, but she's what was it, the second movie? After the second movie, at the end of the second movie, he comes back, and she has aged 5 years, so she's now 17 or so, like that. So that must be what is it? Giant Girl? What is Cat? Do you remember what Cassie's superhero name is? But
I thought she was. I thought she was Ant-Man for a line. I thought she was Ant-Man for a while. She was
definitely on the Young Avengers, right? So in the Young Avengers comic, there was like Kid Kang, and he said Jeremy says that she's played by Catherine Newton, and she was on Supernatural.
Catherine Newton, I know that name.
I severely appreciate the fact that she's in this awesome, expensive Ant-Man suit that nobody else can have, and she also has purple Converse. So, like,
who was she in Supernatural? I recognize her face. Hang on, I've seen every. Hang on, I got to scroll down now and find out who she was in Supernatural because I recognize her. Well, that's cool. I was kind of looking forward to the quantum universe and stuff, the quantum realm, but and that's a whole nother world. Some people don't even. Some Marvel people don't know about that.
I liked the first Ant-Man movie; it was super fun, and the second Ant-Man movie.
That's because it's Paul Rudd and he's awesome.
Yeah, the second Ant-Man movie, the ghost character was kind of interesting, but all of the quantum, this, that, they literally just put the word quantum in front of whatever nonsense they were doing, and it was like, oh, it's quantum. It's been quantumed. And I was just like, guys, come on, try a little bit harder. Anyway, Quantum Mania, it arrives February 17th, 2023. Might watch that. I would say there is probably a 25 to 35% chance that I will watch that. If anything comes up that is even remotely like an excuse not to, I probably won't. But maybe if there's nothing else coming out, I might watch it, and I think it will be funny. And I like Jonathan Majors, so I better than I don't know. Then in the spring, we have a TV show, Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is, of course, the adaptation of the storyline of the Skrulls coming to Earth and then pretending to be superheroes, and I think like kidnapping them and sticking them somewhere and then taking their places. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what Disney is going to do with that. Of course, MCU always takes the original story and then like changes it, makes it different. So they got to subvert expectations. Do you have any? Did you read Secret Invasion at all? Oh, he's on the air. Also coming in 2023 will be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. By all accounts, a supposedly emotional journey wherein Chris Pratt's character Star-Lord must emotionally deal with the fact that the Gamora that he loved is gone, killed by Thanos in Infinity War, I think it was. And there is a Gamora back who has joined the Ravagers, and when Star-Lord runs into her, he's trying to talk to her like we had such a history, such a relationship. He's super vulnerable to her. And Gamora that exists in this reality was the Gamora from 2014, has no history whatsoever with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and is basically like, I don't know you, bro, get out of here. So Chris Pratt's feelings are going to be hurt for Star-Lord's feelings are going to be hurt for all of the Guardians 3 movie, but it will be a cathartic journey of loss and acceptance, I guess. But people apparently cried at the trailer. Did you like the Guardians movie, Deacon? I love the Guardians movies.
I like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. Yeah, I liked them. I like the comedic stuff in them because that's what style of movie they are.
Yeah. Action, comedy, fun stuff.
Yeah,
and with a great attention to the soundtrack. James Gunn is an audiophile, and he picks out just the best soundtrack for these movies. So absolutely. I will absolutely probably
that the soundtrack really makes it or breaks it because like your brother, I watched Supernatural. Yeah, I remember her now. I had to Google it and look, and I was like, oh, she was that girl that was with what's her name, the sheriff. So yeah, I remember her now. But yeah, that show, the soundtrack is its own character in Supernatural. If the soundtrack was not in because the very first season they didn't have the rights to all the rock and roll songs, and I think the rock and roll songs, your brother might correct me on this if I'm wrong, the rock and roll songs came in on like the second season, I think, and that made the show.
It's not Wanderer. Is it Wanderer they played or they?
No, Carry On My Wayward Son is the one that they would always play all the time.
I mean that. Yes, that's a great. Yeah, but they didn't have the rights to that in the first season.
No, I don't think in the first season. It's like the same thing happened with WKRP in Cincinnati, that old TV show. If you buy the DVD, it just depends on where you watch it or what DVD set you bought or whatnot. Depends on if you have the real music or the fake music that they had to put in, the royalty-free music, because there's a lot. The TV show had rights to use the real music, and there's several scenes where there's a scene where Johnny Fever's playing some Pink Floyd, and he's fell asleep in the studio, and his boss comes in and is looking around. It's hilarious. But yeah, if when they put in the royalty-free music, it takes all the funny away from the show. So they do that sometimes.
It is taking every ounce of self-control that I have to not literally sing the theme song to WKRP right now.
That's one of my favorites. If you've never worked in radio, that TV show and news radio, whoever wrote WKRP and news radio worked in radio. That is 1,000% what happens in radio. That is nothing in those two shows are made up.
Wonder whatever became of me. All right. So there is a new show on Disney Plus next year called Echo. If you watched the Hawkeye, did
That's
you
a
watch
dolphin,
Hawkeye?
right? The
Yeah,
dolphin?
it
Oh,
might be more interesting. A dolphin show could have Flipper back. No, this is not a sequel to Flipper. This was going to be a spin-off based on the uh 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 what do you call it when she has a fake leg? She has a
the
prosthetic leg.
amputee?
I guess she's an amputee. An amputee with uh
Oh,
no hearing.
Kingpin's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she is
Yeah, she's
also
Native
an amazing
American.
martial artist and able to take on like trained superheroes and beat them to a standstill. So Echo, the character from the Hawkeye TV show, which was not so good, is going to be out in summer 2023.
I liked
So
it.
you might like it. Maybe it'll be
I don't
good.
remember her in this TV show. Maybe I
Well,
didn't watch it all. I mean, hell, it's
maybe
been.
that's not a good sign.
Yes, that's true. Maybe I didn't like the damn show. I don't even remember her in it.
She was in the show. I don't remember. I remember Hawkeye, the other Hawkeye, all of the people playing LARPing.
That, yeah,
There was Kingpin who got his butt kicked. There was a Black Widow. Oh yes, an Echo. We should make a show about her. Okay, Loki season 2. We'll be back in
I liked her.
2023.
That actress that played her, yeah. Now that I'm seeing it, I remember, and she did a good job. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
that's cool.
Good. I don't know. I don't really have anything against her. I'm mostly disappointed that the Hawkeye TV show kind of didn't like Hawkeye wasn't very important to the show. The actual
Hawkeye, I've always loved him. I like little Haley Steinfeld or whatnot. I thought she did a good job.
I do too. I think she did a good job.
I'm really excited about a Native American character on the big screen for Marvel. Hey, that's freaking awesome. I'm very excited about that.
Oh, for a moment there, I thought you were talking about
Echo,
not Tomahawk. Is it? Who is it? Thunderbird. Yes.
Yeah.
Was he?
I think he's been in a movie. I think he wasn't he in the New Mutants movie. Maybe.
Yeah. There was like a New Mutants TV show, I think.
Yeah, TV show.
And there was a Thunderbird. There was a Thunderbird on there, but I imagine Thunderbird being like 6.5 feet tall and jacked all to hell, and tough, big dude.
A big 6'5" dude with a freaking huge.
Is Thunderbird supposed to be on one of these shows?
I don't know. I hadn't seen all of them yet.
Oh, so you just got my hopes up or nothing?
No, I was just Echo. Echo is a Native American, and that was cool. I was like, that's cool. She's Cheyenne. That's awesome.
All right. I don't know anything about. I never read Echo in the comics.
I didn't either. I was just looking at the thing here, and it said she's Cheyenne. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
All right, so Loki season 2. Maybe we'll get more alligator Loki. Maybe we'll get more King Loki. I don't know. I found the TV show to be largely. I like the concept of the TVA and the alternate timeline stuff. I liked that idea. I liked the.
Hey, as long as we get some Owen Wilson, okay?
Yeah. Give me more Owen Wilson.
That's all I want. I can't do I'm not an impersonation. I can't impersonate people, but I can do made up voices.
I know people love Tom Hiddleston. I genuinely felt while I was watching the Loki show that Tom Hiddleston's performance was just like forced. And I was like, and so I didn't really like Tom Hiddleston's performance in the show. I didn't really care anything about his story arc either. I liked the setup for the show and the like overly bureaucratic. I'm going to remember the name of the movie, the Brazil aesthetic of the TVA and the super bureaucracy, time travel, sci-fi, all of that. I liked the setup. Didn't really care about the story. Did not care whatsoever about Loki or the other Loki, but I did think Kang was interesting last episode.
I thought it was hilarious I thought it was a funny little stab in that show that Loki was attracted to himself because, of course, he would fall in love with himself. You know, I was like, that's pretty funny.
That is superficially a pretty funny joke. When you think about it more, it is way too close to like inbreeding incest.
No, well, yeah, I mean, but as soon as I always looked at it as like, oh, of course Loki's going to be in love with himself. Yeah.
But we'll see if Loki season 2 improves on the original. There were good things and there were bad things. So let's hope that season 2 has more good things than bad. But I liked that. I liked the original setup, especially the Brazil aesthetic. Brazil is one of the movies that I watched again and again and again and again. I watched that movie many, many, many times. Have you ever seen Brazil, Deacon?
No.
I cannot imagine that you would have. It is a let me pull it up. It is a movie by a alumni of Monty Python. And it is long. I'm telling you now, it's a Terry Gilliam film.
Oh,
Terry
yeah.
Gilliam
I've seen this. I haven't seen it, but I've seen that a million times in the past. Yeah, Terry Gilliam, he's a little whacked out on some of his stuff that he's made over the years.
I love this movie, and for that reason, much of that love was transferred to the setup of Loki, and then the rest of Loki happened, and I was like, okay. So we'll see if season 2 is any better. We have the Marvels movie coming out July 28th, 2023. This is the sequel to Captain Marvel, wherein Captain Marvel, the titular hero, has been promoted to sidekick, I guess, because there's 2 other Marvels. There is the Marvel from the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie, the new Captain Marvel that is the Captain Marvel from that in the comics was the first female Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. And there is the Ms. Marvel from the TV show that just concluded, and then there's still the Captain Marvel that got Infinity Stone juiced or something in the first movie. So we have the Marvels movie. I don't know if you're excited to see that. I didn't watch Captain Marvel. I don't feel like I missed anything. Then in November, in November we have the Blade movie coming out. Now this one might be interesting. Blade, and this is not starring Wesley Snipes, but instead, I don't want to get his name wrong.
Is Deacon Frost not going to be in the film this time?
Is that super important?
That's his name.
Where's his name? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to say his name correctly. Mahershala Ali. This dude right here. He was in the Luke Cage season 2 show. I'm not sure. I don't remember which character he played, but Mahershala Ali is taking over the role of Blade.
Hang on. I loved the freaking Luke Cage.
Oh yeah, let's look up Mahershala Ali. I can't even spell his name. Mahershala Ali. Let me see if I can.
Oh, he was wasn't he Cotton? No, he wasn't.
It was Cotton. Was it Cottonmouth? And then there was also a Diamondback. Mahershala Ali. There he is.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, he was Cottonmouth. I thought that he played is when I saw him, I was like, well, that's Cottonmouth, and I thought, no, he was the other guy that helped Luke out. Like was his, but no, it wasn't.
This guy's a good actor.
He's a good actor. Really I thought Cottonmouth was scary as hell, man.
Yeah, he played Cornell Cottonmouth in.
Yeah, he's good. I thought that was a good.
So he is taking on a new MCU role. I guess Luke Cage is not canonically MCU, so it's fine. But he's going to be taking on the role of Luke Cage, which is, of Blade, which is sure to be a hit because Blade is just awesome. And if you've ever seen the Wesley Snipes Blade movies, Blade 1 is great. Blade 2 is very interesting, very different. That's a Guillermo del Toro flick.
Del Toro. Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, Del Toro. It's
and
crazy.
It has like vampire half breeds with like, does good Del Toro stuff where the face splits apart or whatever. Blade Trinity was also a movie. Okay, so in fall 2023, there's going to be an Ironheart TV show. So they are going to, I don't even know the girl's name. They're going to have some girl be Iron Man. Riri Williams, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I'm sure that'll be a hit. Agatha, Coven of Chaos. So this takes the Agatha Harkness character from the WandaVision TV show, which I thought the Agatha Harkness reveal scene at the end of like season 4, thought that was the highlight of the show, and then the show went downhill from there somewhat.
I like the show. I think that Agatha show right there was one that they were like, "Whoa, we picked." Catherine Hahn was the perfect choice to play this Agatha, and these are the guys from Marvel talking MCU. Whoever picked Catherine Hahn, that was the perfect choice, and she completely. We need to do a new damn show about her. I think this was a complete. Holy shit! Catherine Hahn did such a great job. We got to do a show over this. It was so everybody loved her so much that why not? That's instant cash cow. It doesn't matter if Agatha Harkness is a good character, is an interesting character or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. At the end of the WandaVision TV show, Scarlet Witch flips the script and makes Agatha forget that she's Agatha, which is what Agatha had done to Scarlet Witch at the beginning of the show. Had kind of like gotten her to forget that she was Wanda Maximoff. And so she left her basically neutered in Pleasantville or wherever they were, totally forgot that she was Agatha Harkness. So something's got to come up and she must get unforgetified and become a witch again, or maybe it's a prequel. I don't know. We have in spring 2024, Daredevil Born Again, a new Disney show with 18 episodes. 18 episode Disney Plus show. That is kind of interesting because traditionally the more successful Disney Plus shows have had shorter runs. We're talking shows with 6 to 10 episodes. The longer episoded seasons generally don't perform as well because they take 6 to 10 episodes of story and then stretch them out to more episodes. And but Daredevil is a revival series of the 2015 hit Netflix television show Daredevil, which ran for I think three seasons plus a Defenders special feature. Daredevil is coming back now. As far as I know, only Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are returning to Daredevil Born Again. I'm not sure if the Netflix shows are canon to the MCU or not, but those two actors are very popular. Those characters are very popular. But Charlie Cox is 9 years older than he was when he filmed in Daredevil the first season. How are you going to feel about a middle-aged 40-something-year-old Daredevil, Deacon? Any thoughts on that?
How did you feel about Stacey Dash playing a 16 and 17-year-old girl in Clueless in 1995 when she was in her 30s? They did it all the time.
I never watched Clueless.
Oh my God, JJ!
Didn't they have Alicia Silverstone in it? I didn't like Alicia Silverstone. I just didn't like her.
You didn't have a crush on Alicia Silverstone?
No, I think it was. Did she have a lisp or something? I don't know what it was, but there's something about her that I was just like, pass, hard pass. For me, always. The only movie that I can think of that I watched her in was Batman Forever. Didn't she play Batgirl?
Yeah.
I think she played Batgirl. I've seen her in that.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can think of that she was in that.
Well, you're not missing out on much. I had a big crush on Alicia Silverstone.
Okay. In addition to Daredevil, so did you watch Daredevil on Netflix? And
Yep. Yep.
excited? Do you think they should leave well enough alone? What do you think?
Do a new one. That's cool.
Okay,
I like
sure.
Daredevil. I
Right.
thought Charlie Cox did a good job. I thought Vincent D'Onofrio. I've always loved him since freaking Full Metal Jacket.
Right.
But, I think I wish they would bring back the other two people. Um, what's his name?
Yes, I liked who played Fergie. Fergie is Fergie, right? I think it was Fergie.
No, I can't think of that actor's name, but I really like him.
I honestly, I like the cast. Here's the only thing I think about Daredevil is this. Daredevil was a smash hit. It was an amazing show. What's that?
Eldon Henson. He played Fonzie Nelson. Yeah, and then Deborah Ann Woll played Karen Page, and she was great. I thought she was great. They need to bring back those two. And if they're why in the hell aren't we doing something on the Punisher? Because that was the best. I actually was like questioning myself on that season of Daredevil when he's up there, Punisher's telling him that story, and I'm like, the Punisher just made me cry.
It was PTSD stuff. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing that I think about this. I think everybody is excited about Daredevil coming back because they want a good action show again, right? I think that the first season of Daredevil was like top notch, and it didn't get better than that, in my opinion. And I am kind of the opinion that the time of Daredevil has come and gone, and trying to bring it back to like catch the lightning in the bottle again. What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? So
you can always tell a different story. He's gotten a little older. You know, all the crap in New York City happened because in the Daredevil TV show, if you remember, I think it was those Netflix shows. It might not have been the Daredevil show, but it was on some of them Netflix shows because I caught it several times. They would say the incident in New York. Or the big green guy, the guy, once somebody was saying the guy with the hammer and the big green guy and the lady that wears black, it was like, so I think that as crap happened. So what if they took like the show as, he didn't really need to defend Hell's Kitchen that much because all this other crap was going on everywhere, and now some other crap's going on now that the Avengers are gone.
Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. I mean, it's very likely it can be good.
It won't work. Disney writers are trashed here. Yes. Yes, I agree.
Oh yeah. No, that's my biggest concern is that so far, none of the Disney shows, even the best Disney shows, have not been good. They've just had some good moments. They haven't been like good, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So I'm a little bit like, you guys are going to mess up the day. You have in the can at least one, maybe three great seasons of Daredevil, and you're going to make this, and you're going to like spoil it. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see what they do. I don't know. It's going to be 2024. And then there's Captain America: New World Order, which is the sequel to the Winter Soldier TV show, and also a Thunderbolts movie, Thunderbolts, which is bad guys pretending to be good guys who actually end up turning out to be good guys, even though they're bad guys. That's the Thunderbolts thing. Okay, so that is the slate of films that has been revealed for... wait, I don't think we're done yet. Oh, yeah, we're not done yet. That is Phase 5. All that list of stuff is Phase 5, and that's in 18 months. Look at all of those shows. Shows and movies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Marvel properties in 18 months, Deacon.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay. And then also some Phase 6 stuff has been revealed. And this is where the interesting is happening. November 2024, Fantastic Four movie. A new Fantastic Four movie. And Avengers Kang Dynasty.
Okay.
And then Avengers Secret Wars. Secret Wars being, of course, inspired by the early 1980s comic book massive event / sell toys thing that Marvel was doing in the 1980s, where characters from all over the universe or whatever were brought together to battle in Battle World. Inspiration for Contest of Champions. Deacon, Secret
Yes.
Wars movie. What do you think about
Yeah.
that? Anything? We got a couple years to go to it in that.
What the Contest of Champions actually came out a long time ago.
Yeah. So we'll see. We got a couple years to complain and worry about this. So anyway, so that is the San Diego Comic-Con Marvel slate. There was a new She-Hulk trailer released. Maybe we will watch that tomorrow morning. We'll see if last week we watched the trailer that came out a couple months ago. We will see if they have improved the CGI of She-Hulk. I do not know. Oops. Where did my... Yeah, okay. Let me turn this off. That is, unless you got any other news to talk about this morning, Deacon, I think we're going to wrap it up. We lost all of our viewers, except for my brother. Probably shouldn't have talked about immigration at the beginning of the show. That's a mistake, I guess. But it had to be talked about. I think it had to be talked about because sending them to DC is, I don't know. Maybe it's gonna change. Who knows? Anything else this morning, Deacon? You got anything else in the hopper? There's it looks like Dolph Lundgren held the sword of the Masters of the Universe this weekend at San Diego Comic-Con. He did that back in like 1987. Sorry, I watched Masters of the Universe in 1987. I got one more thing for you, and then we'll go. There was Rob Liefeld posted an image of the High Evolutionary, seemingly from the floor of San Diego Comic-Con Hall H, and it looked like this was actually the High Evolutionary from the movies. So this is the costume. And the reason why I think it is if you look in these photos right here, this guy right here. So there's Kang, and this guy right here, security. So security is keeping people back who are trying to take photos of Kang, which makes me think that this is the legitimate Kang costume from, no, not Kang. I'm sorry, High Evolutionary costume from whichever movie they're going to do with the High Evolutionary. And what do you think about the High Evolutionary costume? Does it look inspiring? What did you ever read any comics with the High Evolutionary?
Not too much, but he looks cool.
From my memory, the High Evolutionary was basically in total control of the other Earth. So there was the Earth, and then on the opposite side of the sun was the other Earth. And he would, on that planet, he basically took animals and evolved them into humanoid of human intelligence or whatever. And so he made all these animal human like hybrids. And that was what he did. He evolved all of these animals and basically created his own world of stuff. So he was in a bunch of comics back in the like 80s, especially in the 80s. I think he's been revived several times since then. His face looks like it's stretched over his hat, which is kind of weird. And his costume looks like purple stuff. But if you like the High Evolutionary, it looks like he's coming to one of these Marvel movies. That's all that I really had scheduled to discuss for the San Diego Comic-Con.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, well, tomorrow is another day. We will try again. Thank you for watching. I'm JJW. This is Deacon, and we are your two dads. 6:30 in the morning. Don't forget to tune in. We're sorry if we hurt your feelings. Bye.